Hi, welcome back. My name is Rachel and I am an artist, and today we are going to be doing more pollinator stuff. Yay! Oh, the bees, the bees, the bees, the bees. I'm very excited about this series because I love to garden. I'm not always great at it. I have killed some plants, don't judge me, but I definitely have been planting a lot more native, and when I don't plant native, I try to make sure that they're always pollinator friendly. Black-eyed Susans, I do love them. They're very gorgeous. They bring a lot of color. For a while I was trying to go with just like a lot of pinks and purples, but when you add that yellow pop, it just makes everything come together, and they really look nice. So I have this one section of my garden where there was nothing there. Well, there was something there when we moved in, but like they had cut something that was there. I guess there was bushes. They cut that down and then just left the stumps. So it was like terrible over there. Like the ground, the soil was terrible, awful. So I had spent a few years trying to like build it back up, putting newer soil down. I also removed whatever roots were there. So I had planted wildflowers at one point. They got crazy, and actually it's funny because a few of them still do come back. But eventually I was like, I wanted to plant something that would come back every year and I didn't have to do as much work, because I am what I like to call a lazy gardener, and lazy gardeners make sure they do perennials so that they keep coming back and I don't have to do a million things I just have to touch up. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to make it a beautiful garden that lasts, because I want to make it look nice and then give everything to the bees and the birds and make them happy. But anyway, so I put hydrangeas, but there's a certain type the bees like, so that's good. And then in the middle I put black-eyed Susans, and so this was their second summer and they came back swinging. They got so much bigger, and let me tell you, covered in bees all the time. So that made me very happy. So many bees, so much pollination. Anyway, so for this video, we're gonna go right into the time lapse, and I will be giving you some fun facts and talking about the process, and I hope you enjoy it. Painting this painting of Black-eyed Susans was so fun and so enjoyable. I really think that if, sunflowers didn't have their name already, like if they didn't have the name sunflower, like Black-eyed Susans would be like up there for taking that spot, but they are called Black-eyed Susans and they are adorbs. I really enjoy having them in the garden, and I can completely understand why bees love them so much. So here are some fun facts about how to care for Black-eyed Susans in your garden, because we want to take care of our plants. And here we go. Set new plants out in the spring after all danger has passed from your last frost. You don't want them to freeze, or you should plant them in the fall. You don't want to plant them in the summer. It's too hot. The roots don't like it. Just don't do it. You want to do it, in the spring or in the fall. Okay, but if you're planting by seed, you want to start sowing your seeds about 6 weeks before the last frost. So you probably do that in your seed trays indoors. Okay, you don't want to overplant. You don't want to put them on top of each other, right? You want to make sure that you give them at least 18 inches so they have room to grow. I always make that mistake. I like to plant them too close. And then I'm like, no, and then I have to dig them up and move them, and I don't know how much Black-eyed Susans really like to be moved. So they come back and they get bigger, and they always have more blooms from each year, so do that. They do like full sun to part sun. You want to make sure that they, obviously they like their light. You don't want them to dry out, but you don't also want to overdo it with the water. Probably in the heat of summer, you want to make sure that they're watered every day. You don't want them to get super hot, but too much water, especially in the spring and the fall, can kind of make infections and bad stuff that could harm our poor plants. We don't want that. Do deadhead the flowers any time of the year. Remove the faded and dead flowers. This way you can, prolong the life. And this This plant is wonderful. I think she's great. You want to make sure that, let's see, the hardiness zones are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Wow. And this plant attracts butterflies and pollinators. So it's a really great plant for the, the circle of life. We want to make sure that we are always making sure that our bees are fed and our butterflies. We don't need any, anything to go extinct. They really help our food chain. Without the plants, without the bees, we'd have no fruit, we'd have no veggies, all the good stuff, and anything else that would be, they come in orange and yellow and sometimes red. And you also want to divide perennials 3 to 4 years to make sure that they're healthy and prevent excessive spreading. So, remove the clumps, don't just put them and they overtake one area. That would also be good. They want to have like a little bit of mound at the bottom to make sure that the roots are protected. Black-eyed seeds, black-eyed Susans are big reseeders. So if you leave the seeds, they will drop more seeds and they do like spread that way. So if you don't want that to happen, you want to cut the spent flowers back just below the mound. So like the foliage at the bottom, you want to cut them back there. So if you don't want like a giant pile of sunflowers, see, I keep calling them sunflowers. They look like them. They're gorgeous, but they're black-eyed Susans. Woman, get it together. Also, overwintering birds really enjoy the dried seeds. So it is a wildlife, like it helps a bunch of things. Most black-eyed Susans will grow about 1 to 3 feet tall. There are dwarf varieties and there's also like taller ones. The dwarf varieties are better for like containers. Varieties can be annual, biennial, or perennial, depending on. So make sure you research and whatever you grab at the store. I used to think like, it says on the little thing that it's full sun, but then I kind of research more. And I'm like, well, it's not really like full sun. It prefers more like part sun, but not only 3 or 4 hours. It needs 6 to 8 versus like 12. So it does need like shade, like that. For example, I don't know, where I have my black-eyed Susans, some are in like full sun. They get about, I would say 8 to 10 hours of sun. And then I have some that are like 6 to 8 because they get shade at a certain part. There's a tree. They're both doing great. They come back. So, there's a couple of different varieties. They all have different types. So they have different colors, longer stems. So it depends on what you want in your garden. So those are my fun facts for these beautiful flowers. I loved painting this one. For this series, I've been really trying to not overthink and overdo my brush strokes. I wanted to keep it looser. I did not want to make it look like a photograph. I wanted to make sure that it still looked like a painting and, not have the urgency to overcorrect. Because sometimes when I overcorrect, I realize that I kind of ruined the magic. And there was like something very special about the way that one brushstroke mixed with the paint, and it created this beautiful like swoosh. And there's like, you can see like the blues and greens in it. So I really tried not to overdo it. But again, all paintings, they go through an ugly phase. So the beginning is cute, then it gets to the ugly part, and then you go back in and you add all the little details and the final things, and you're like, okay, then there we go. I really enjoyed making the bee. And this painting is not very big. I want to say it's a 6-inch round. So it isn't huge. And so, painting a tiny little bee and trying to get all this detail. I am not a miniature painter, so it's not going to be like super detailed, but it's a tiny, I think it's maybe a 1/2 inch big. But anyway, here's the final details. I loved it. I filmed this outside in the sun and just, oh, what a beautiful black-eyed Susan. There's my little bee. Save the bees, you know? Take care of the world. Look how gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed the time lapse and watching the painting come together, as well as my fun facts about this beautiful black-eyed Susan. Isn't she gorgeous? This is the painting I told you. Wasn't very big. She's the size of my face, but she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I can't wait to get back outside and start gardening again. I really enjoy it. It's I get to be out in the sun. I get to be out in the warm weather. Even if it's a spring day or an autumn day, it's still wonderful. And you know, it's great physical work and physical exercise, and you get to be kind of alone with your thoughts. And you know, the work helps me to, you know, it's fun, and it also helps our world. It helps our bees. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.